So, Key, should the Steelers be bothered by Aaron Rodgers making them wait?
No, I don't think they should be bothered at all because they know what's going on. They're in communication with him and his representatives. They've already said, here's what we're thinking. He's already said, this is what he's thinking. Give us some time. The people in the building knows what's going on, and so does his people. Now, the fans, that's a different story because they see everybody else's quarterbacks out on. Justin Fields was just out on the practice field yesterday or the day before throwing balls around, so people are seeing activity taking place with other franchises. There's no activity going on with Aaron Rodgers, and I don't think he's going to Minnesota. It doesn't feel like it. 2 weeks ago, it felt like it, but right now, that's today, it doesn't feel like he's going to Minnesota. So they sitting pretty, unless he retires.
Well,
sitting pretty.
So what's the holdup, though? Like, this is your only option. Like, this
well, is that, or he's probably is one of three options, right? Maybe he wants to go there. And again, there's probably still a small window for Minnesota because
yeah, it's probably a small window.
Yeah, and I think right now, no, they shouldn't be bothered. And Tomlin, obviously one of the most respected coaches, and definitely respects Aaron Rodgers. He's gonna hey man, take your time, do your thing. And so I think right now, I don't know if they're sitting pretty, but right to your point, there's a lot of activity going on with Justin Fields and obviously Russell going to New York. And then we don't know, they got the 21st pick. They're hosting Shedeur today, I believe. I think he's visiting the Steelers. And so I think right now they're just letting him do his thing, just taking their time.
Well, the Steelers, they put this on themselves. I mean, they had the opportunity this summer. They could have gave Fields an offer that he couldn't refuse. Obviously, Russell Wilson, and they let everything slip through the cracks. And now they're finding themselves in this position to where Aaron Rodgers is their last great hope for a quarterback, a starting quarterback. And so I don't feel the Steelers are bothered by Aaron Rodgers because they lay in the bed that they made. And so they put themselves in this position, so I don't feel bad at all. I mean, Aaron Rodgers could just say, I'm retired, and then what do they do?
Right, that's option 3.
Yeah.
Joy, your Steelers, Joy?
They deserve this.
Yeah, they do.
Justin Fields was there, was playing well. They could have made him an offer, made him the Steelers franchise quarterback. Russell Wilson was there, was playing well enough. They let him walk. I don't know why people keep buying into Aaron Rodgers is going to do something different. No one should be surprised by this. This is textbook Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he could sell a ketchup lollipop to a woman with white gloves every single time. He is out here saying he's going to change, and every single time he does the same thing. So the Steelers deserve this. Ketchups, white gloves.
But I
know what it is.
Yeah,
I'm
we were just trying to. Lollipop has a stick.
No, I can tell that was looking like they didn't get it.
No, I got it. 100% got it. No, we got it. 100%.
We got it. We just messed
like
with
the Black Beavis and Butthead over there. It looked like it.
So damn stupid, man.
It was like,
Oh my goodness!
I saw that over there.
I fell into the trap. Keyshawn has these little side conversations, and I watched him over there, and I sure enough bought into the side conversation.
I didn't do anything.
That's my bad.
And I'm getting the blame because you didn't understand that the lollipop was actually ketchup and the glove was white and it was going to turn red.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Steelers have Mason Rudolph as their starting quarterback right now, and they have to sit around and wait until Rodgers decides what he wants to do because that's the position that they put themselves in.
There's not a starting quarterback in this draft for the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's not a starting quarterback, right? And I understand Shedeur is going to visit, but that's not the route that they want to go. They don't want to go rookie quarterback starting. So what will happen in this situation, because the first time that they'll take the field will be late May, early June in minicamp, right? Mm-hmm. That's so much time to get a decision.
If he wants to go to
and if they draft a quarterback, they're going to draft a quarterback later in the rounds, just a guy that they like, that they see that could potentially one day be something. That's what
he had
do.
such a great season last year. It's really makes sense that he would, be someone that you sit around and...
Yeah, a better season than people think he did. The Steelers...
last 5 games. Yeah, he played well.
The last 5 games, he had a couple of good passes. We have some footage of
a couple of good throws the last
for the next
5 games.
15 minutes if we want to get excited about it.
But his resume, Joy, and the history of Aaron... Look at that throw.
Oh,
the history of Aaron Rodgers...
Run it again because we're going to run out of tape pretty soon.
No, that's
One more
all.
time.
That's all the receiver right there. Look at that.
Dime.
Look at that. Dime.
One more time.
Look at that. Look at just a flick of the wrist, though, Joy.
Patting
And
the
this
ball.
one
And
right
he passed
here.
the ball.
Look at the. Oh my God.
Now,
Back
now
across
play him
the
again.
green.
Start it over again.
Start it over.
There we go.
Start it over.
There we go.
But I agree with you in terms of, like, there isn't a starting quarterback for them. They still need to get offensive linemen. They need a running back. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of things they
gotta
need to
figure out.
address around the team before they go ahead and get a rookie quarterback to be their starter. So they must. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers. They're just chilling, waiting.
Yeah, it's gonna be I think it's gonna be Rodgers.
Well, I'm just saying no one should be surprised that they're sitting around waiting for him.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, and he's chilling.
But is it really his fault that they waiting?
You know,
is it his fault?
No, he has to wait, make sure that the vibes are right. Maybe he's asking for naming rights for the stadium. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't think he's getting.
Maybe he's in negotiations with Romances to take the French fries off of the sandwiches. Aaron Rodgers' former team, the New York Jets, is under new leadership with Aaron Glenn coming in as the head coach, and he is focused on creating a strong culture with his team before even thinking about winning a Super Bowl.
I like it.
Finally.
Yes.
Right mentality?
Yeah, I understand everything, Aaron Glenn. I can break it all down. I speak AG. You know what I'm saying? And at the end, the building stinks from top to bottom. So you got to scrub that whole thing with bleach. You got to just clean it up. You got to get the right people in the building to start with before you even start thinking about the players, because you got to change the mindset and the culture. And all good to great head coaches that take over programs, the first thing they do, they clean it up and get everybody on the same page. And once everybody gets on the same page, now you can start teaching the fundamentals of football, your program, and the way you want to do things. But when they know you're not playing games, that's just what it is.
I don't know if I'm tripping or not, but I don't remember him having this much gray hair before he got the Jets job.
No, he had grays.
Like that?
Yeah, like that.
He always used to wear the hat, though, huh?
No, he would not have a hat on. No, but he had grays.
Oh, he let the
AG
beard
didn't
grow.
have
This what it is. He let the beard grow.
Man, what are you
No,
doing?
what I'm saying, look, because he didn't have the beard before.
In other words, he's saying he's aging already.
The building already walked in and aged 10 years.
No, but I'm telling you the truth is because you got to remember who he grew up under. Mm-hmm. Belichick, Parcells, Sean Payton, Dan Campbell. Mm-hmm. Those are all his coaches that he coached underneath.
Right.
He learned a lot of the things from them and how they went about having a success.
Well, it's also what Dan Campbell did with the Lions.
But Dan Campbell learned from those two guys.
Yeah.
Right, Sean. Right, Bill.
But it's a
Sean and
process,
Bill.
right? Like when Dan Campbell went to the Lions, I did not think much of what they were going to be able to do.
You wouldn't,
but
right.
They slowly, with reasonable expectations, turned things around by gradually getting better every single year. And the first year wasn't great, but they were clearly establishing a culture.
Yes,
which
right.
is what you have to do with the Jets.
Man, you have to. Joy, don't laugh at this one, though, but it's funny. And so when Parcells came in and took over the Jets, we used to have the gate at the front, like the gate, right, with the security guard. It was a guy named Harry. Harry had been there, like, since Joe Namath was playing. That was the first person Bill got rid of, the dude at the gate.
The gate guy?
The gate guy. And I asked him, I said, but why you fired? Doesn't serve us any purpose. Doesn't serve, I'm getting rid of all these,
Damn, Harry.
That's how they,
Harry caught a stray on
yeah, like a stray work. Yeah, like a
whole
stray.
career.
And brought in former FBIs and Steve Yarnell and company to make sure we ain't having none of this nonsense here no more. We getting ready to turn it into a certain way. And that's how you have to be, though.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like,
I
have
don't
to
think
be.
Aaron Glenn needs to fire the current head.
hey, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. I mean,
Harry's letting everybody in there.
I'm serious. So,
Man.
like, I 100% agree.
look, Joy.
Stop.
Everybody in the building. Everybody in the building.
Even on the
maybe
smaller
gotta
scale,
go.
like, I believe, like, yes, you have to set the culture because that's how you sustain success. That's why everyone knew about the Patriot way because he has to. See, there he go, Paul.
With me, dog.
Anyhow, like I was saying, sustained success. I was just with Boston College, and Bill O'Brien became the head coach, who was under Bill and Saban. He literally moved everyone. Like, there's nothing but brand new faces in the. I'm talking about from the groundskeeper to the.
Paul,
to
what
the,
are you doing?
What's this?
Paul, what is going on?
I don't know what's going on. What y'all doing?
Somebody's at the
Anyhow, you can.
I don't know how to turn the volume
But
down
to
on
your
that.
point with the Lions, yeah, take his phone, please, and his coconut
We're
water.
not going to do it no more.
You ain't gonna do it?
No.
That's your
Yeah, you
ring
good.
doorbell?
Yeah.
So like you said, like how it was back in the day, like with the Lions, like you said, it was a gradual thing. Like before, like it used to be a 4-year plan. Like you had time. Like when I got to Green Bay and McCarthy took over as head coach, it was like year 1, okay, you figure out what's going on, right? Year 2, you have your first draft and your free agents. Year 3, now you're kind of in prime position to compete in the playoffs, and then year 4, hopefully compete for a championship. So I do love this approach because when you take over a team as a head coach, you're a CEO first and foremost. So you got to get the city on board. You got to get the front office, ownership, executives, everybody before you get to the players. And I think, for example, when Hackett took over the Broncos, he didn't address any of that. And I think that's why he never had the team, and that's why he never had the culture, and they immediately just weren't good at all. So I love this idea.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been on programs. Like when I first got to the Boston Celtics, we were in a similar situation. We was in a lottery every year, trying to establish who we are, trying to establish an identity. You know, it took 10 years, though. It took 10 years. I don't know how long this is going to take. He said 4 years. But that's the most important thing. We had no culture for a lot of years. Once we developed the culture and we got the players that can help develop that culture, everything turned around. So I like this approach. Instead of the approach coming in saying we got the talent, we can make the playoffs, and this is going to turn around, which usually doesn't turn things around. So this is the right, and you can tell he's come from a great coach's tree. Yeah. And so, you know, I'm hoping for success for them, and success for them this year will probably be winning more games next year than they did this past year. That'll be a start. And then start thinking about maybe the following year creeping up into the, you know, wild card or something.
Just putting good product on the field is success.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Aaron Rodgers set the bar so high.
Aaron Rodgers.
He was over here talking about
that's
Super
why
Bowl.
he gonna be your quarterback next year. So deal with it.
Hey, I did look.
Hey, he was like Super Bowl.
It's hard to not think that the Jets were in a position Aaron Rodgers' first year, if he didn't get hurt, that they was gonna make a push. Just based on the way that the team was put together and the talent that they had around him. I didn't know Aaron Rodgers was going to pop his Achilles and then the next year come back and take a trip to Egypt. I had no idea. I thought he would be fired up and ready to go. Mini camp.
He usually is.
You know what this is? That reminds me of that Laker team that brought on Steve Nash and Dwight Howard and them when they put all the names together.
Yeah, we was good. But it didn't work out that way. It didn't work out that way. Everybody got hurt. Dwight had a back issue.
It was like a similar situation.
No, Steve had the back issue.
Steve Nash came on. Everybody was like, "Whoa, Lakers! Hey, the Lakers! Golden purple Lakers! Steve Nash."
Is that what they was doing? See, he think he's slick though. He thought
he's throwing shots.
But you didn't realize Paul thought he was slick. Joy. Paul sat there and said, "Oh, when we, changed the culture and did all this in Boston, this that, and the other." And I traded a few people to get some other people, but
Nah, that wasn't me.
That wasn't me.
That was culture change.
The Jets need a culture change. They need it from the foundation up, and they have a young quarterback who's dealt with a lot of adversity.
Yeah.
He needs to build into the situation as well. They do have a good young talent base. I like the materials that he has to work with. But the reason why I think this is important, and this is what I was saying about Chicago this year and what I said about the Jets the year that Aaron Rodgers came, is that it sounds nice that all of a sudden you're going to come in and turn things around and you're suddenly going to be a Super Bowl contender. And it's a lot. Clearing out the entire building does not happen overnight, and then everyone snaps into this Super Bowl mentality. Yes, you can improve and be a better team in 1 year. You can turn things around when you have some material to work with, but this is a team who hasn't been to the playoffs in 15 years.
But it's also to have communication with the owner, first and foremost, to let him know, channel those expectations.
Of course, but when you're speaking expectations that are, in my opinion, unrealistic, then you have to live up to those unrealistic expectations. And when you fall dramatically short of those what were already unrealistic expectations,
that's why I'm glad he didn't say any of that stuff.
It looks worse. Right. There's no reason that they should be talking about Super Bowl or playoffs right now.
But Joy, in all honesty, it was not that way when they acquired Aaron Rodgers. I don't care what he did in Green Bay. When you got that dude, a 4-time MVP, and you got Breece Hall, and you got Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner, and you got Garrett Wilson, and you bringing in a couple other little pieces on the offensive side of the ball, you automatically assume,
especially
man, this is, and when
the glaring issue, he was him.
Won 7 games between him and Mike White, won 7 games, and you bring in this dude, you automatically think, oh, okay,
he worth at least 2 or 3 more games.
Man, he worth 3, 4 more.
Should I run that ketchup lollipop thing back again?
Damn goofy.
Shut up.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.